first time Naomi saw the footage, she thought it was a glitch. Her doorbell camera had sent a motion alert at 3:12 in the morning. She was already awake because the wind had been hitting the side of the house all night, making the windows tap softly in their frames. She reached for her phone, expecting to see a raccoon on the porch or the neighbor's cat crossing her yard. Instead, the video showed her own front door opening. Slowly. No one walked up to it from outside. No one knocked. No one rang the bell. The door opened from inside the house. Naomi sat up in bed and stared at the screen. The hallway behind the door was dark. The porch light was on. For 3 seconds, nothing moved. Then a man stepped out. He was wearing a black hoodie, dark pants and socks with no shoes. His face was turned away from the camera, but Naomi could see that he was tall, thin and moving carefully, like he knew exactly where the porch boards creaked. He pulled the door almost shut behind him. Not fully. Almost. Then he walked off the porch and disappeared toward the side yard. The video ended. Naomi did not move for almost a full minute. She lived alone. The house was hers. Every door had been locked before she went to bed. Every window had been checked. She had no roommate, no boyfriend, no family staying over, and no reason for a stranger to be walking out of her front door at 3:12 in the morning. She got out of bed with her phone in one hand and a pair of scissors in the other. Her bedroom door was still locked. That was the first thing that confused her. She always locked her bedroom door at night. It was an old habit from living in an apartment, and she had done it every night since moving into the house. If someone had walked through the hallway, they had passed right by her door while she slept. Naomi listened. The house was quiet. No footsteps. No voices. No drawers opening. Just the wind tapping against the kitchen window. She called 911 from her bedroom and whispered that someone had been inside her house. The dispatch told her to stay where she was and keep the door locked. Police arrived 12 minutes later. They checked the entire house. Living room. Kitchen. Closets. Bathroom. Laundry room. Garage. Basement door. Nothing. No broken window. No forced lock. No muddy footprint. No stranger hiding anywhere. One officer watched the doorbell footage 3 times. Then he asked Naomi if anyone else had a key. She said no. He asked if the front door could have blown open. Naomi showed him the deadbolt. It could only be unlocked from inside or with the key. The officer's face changed slightly, but his voice stayed calm. He told her to change the locks first thing in the morning and stay somewhere else for the night if she could. Naomi went to her sister's apartment with one overnight bag and did not come back until noon. By then, the house looked different to her. Not physically. Everything was where it had been. The couch, the plants, the shoes by the door, the framed photo on the hallway wall. But it no longer felt like her house. It felt like someone else had been using it while she was asleep. She called a locksmith. He changed the front and back locks, added a chain to the front door, and told her she was probably safe now. That night, Naomi put a chair against her bedroom door. Then she checked the doorbell app every 20 minutes until she finally fell asleep. At 3:12, her phone buzzed. Motion detected. Naomi's eyes opened instantly. She picked up the phone. The video loaded. Her front door opened. Again. The chain lock swung loose. The deadbolt was unlocked. The same man stepped out onto the porch. This time he paused. He looked toward the street. Then he slowly turned his head toward the camera. Naomi stopped breathing. The hood covered most of his face, but she could see his mouth. He was smiling. Then he lifted one finger to his lips, like he was telling her to be quiet. The video ended. Naomi screamed. She called police again, but this time she did not wait in the bedroom. She climbed out the bedroom window, dropped into the flower bed, and ran barefoot to the neighbor's house. Police searched again. This time they brought more officers. Still nothing. The front door was locked when they arrived. The chain was attached. The new deadbolt worked perfectly. The locksmith confirmed the lock had not been picked. Naomi showed the officers the second video. Nobody joked about glitches anymore. One officer asked a question that made her feel sick. "Do you have an attic?" Naomi did. A small one. The access hatch was in the hallway ceiling directly outside her bedroom door. She had never opened it. The officers pulled down the attic hatch and climbed up. Naomi stood in the living room listening to boots move above the ceiling. For a few minutes there was nothing. Then one officer called down. "We found something." They brought down a blanket first, then a flashlight, then an empty water bottle, then a plastic grocery bag filled with food wrappers. Naomi covered her mouth. The officer told her someone had been staying in the attic. Not long-term maybe, but recently. The insulation had been pressed flat in a trail leading from the attic hatch toward the front of the house. Above the hallway they found a small hole drilled down through the ceiling. It came out behind the smoke detector outside Naomi's bedroom. From there someone could look directly at her bedroom door, but the attic had no outside entrance, no broken vent, no open window, no way in except the hatch in the hallway, which meant the man had been coming down into the house, or already had access from inside. Naomi stayed with her sister again. Police told her they would increase patrols, but unless they caught him there was not much else they could do. Naomi refused to accept that. The next day she installed 2 more cameras inside the house. One in the hallway facing the attic hatch. One in the kitchen facing the basement door. She did not know why she included the basement. She just hated that door. It was at the end of the laundry room, painted white with an old metal knob that always felt colder than the rest of the house. The basement was unfinished. Concrete floor. Old shelves. Water heater. Fuse box. Nothing else. At least that was what she thought. That night Naomi did not sleep at the house. She sat on her sister's couch with her laptop open watching the live camera feeds. At 2:47 the hallway camera showed nothing. At 2:58 nothing. At 3:07 nothing. Then at 3:11 the kitchen camera flickered. Naomi leaned close. The basement door opened. Just a crack. A hand appeared around the edge. Then a man stepped out. Not from the attic. From the basement. He moved through the kitchen slowly, carrying his shoes in one hand. He wore the same black hoodie, same dark pants, same socks. He walked down the hallway, past the camera, past Naomi's bedroom. Then he stopped under the attic hatch. He looked up at it and waved. Not at the hatch, at the hallway camera. Naomi slammed the laptop shut and called police. This time she met them outside the house. They entered with weapons drawn. The basement door was closed. The front door was locked. The house was quiet. When officers went into the basement, they found something behind the shelves near the water heater. A false wall. It looked like old plywood storage paneling, but one section swung open from the inside. Behind it was a narrow space under the stairs that Naomi had never known existed. There was a sleeping bag inside. A backpack. A pair of shoes. A stack of Naomi's mail. A spare house key she thought she had lost during the move. And a notebook. On the first page was her full name. On the next page was her schedule. Leave 7:30. Home 5:50. Call sister after dinner. Checks front lock twice. Bedroom door locked by 10:15. Sleeps with fan on. The officer turned the page and stopped reading out loud. Naomi asked what it said. He told her to wait upstairs. She refused. So he showed her. The line was short. She watches the front door, not the basement. Naomi felt like she might collapse. For weeks she had been locking herself inside with him. Police searched the hidden space and found an opening near the foundation wall. It led to an old exterior crawlspace vent hidden behind bushes on the side of the house. That was how he had gotten in originally. But once inside, he had found Naomi's spare key. After that, he could come and go through the front door whenever he wanted. That explained the doorbell footage. What it did not explain was the attic. Why go up there? Why sleep in the basement, then leave evidence above a bedroom? Then an officer found the answer. Inside the attic, tucked behind a beam, was another camera. It was pointed down through the hole near the smoke detector. Not at the hallway. At Naomi's bedroom door. The man had been watching to see if she came out. If the bedroom door opened, he could retreat into the attic. If she stayed inside, he could walk through the house. He had built himself 2 hiding places. One below her. One above her. Naomi moved out that same day. She did not care about the lease or the furniture. She packed her documents, work clothes, laptop, and a small box of photos. Everything else stayed. Police never found the man. They found fingerprints, but no match. They found the backpack, but no identification. They found the shoes, but not him. For 3 weeks, Naomi tried to move on. Then one morning, her sister sent her a screenshot. It was from a neighborhood group online. Someone on Naomi's old street had posted a blurry doorbell video. The caption said, "Does anyone know this man? He came out of my house at 3 a.m. Naomi opened the image. Her hands went cold. Same black hoodie. Same dark pants. Same careful walk. Different porch. Different house. Same smile. She called the detective immediately. By the time police checked the new house, he was gone again. But in the basement, behind a loose panel near the water heater, they found a sleeping bag, a notebook, and one page with Naomi's new address written at the top. Naomi does not live alone anymore. She moved into a 3rd-floor apartment with her sister. No attic. No basement. No crawl space. No side yard. She checks the locks every night anyway. Then the vents. Then the closets. Then the camera feed. Because the worst part was not seeing a stranger leave her house. It was realizing he felt safe enough to use the front door. Like he lived there too. And if your doorbell camera showed someone walking out of your house at 3 in the morning, would you search the attic? Or check the basement first?